Batman Kings of Fear issue 1, Scott Peterson writing, Kelly Jones on art. So this is a mini-series, this is not part although the cover still says DC Universe as if it is part of continuity, but whatever.
Yeah. With it saying that, I'm going to assume this is one of those that is like, like how we had the Ivy Cycle of Life. What was it called? Cycle of Death?
Cycle and Life of Death.
Yeah.
That was a really good one.
Like, yeah, no, it was good, but it was one of those that if you told me it wasn't in continuity, I'd go, sure. But then it got referenced later. It's like, so it definitely is.
Yeah, it's a flashback
I
story, because we got a really classic Batman suit with the big pointy ears and the yellow oval, and all the villain designs, Joker especially, is really old school.
Poison Ivy looks like her first appearance.
Yeah, they all look pretty old school to the point. I mean, I love the old school Scarecrow. Like, I think his design looks great. Which, given the title, you're kind of expecting it to go to Scarecrow eventually.
Yeah, they're all super 90s because it's Kelly Jones, and that's what you get.
Which, has its ups and downs. I actually, like, it's oddly comforting looking at this art. It's like, oh, this is kind of nostalgic, but it's not the best art in the world. There's definitely things I don't like about it. There's faces here that I don't like.
Yeah, see, I didn't come up reading Batman comics, so Kelly Jones holds no place for me in like nostalgia. So I don't like it, like the art.
Oh really?
So,
I'm a big fan.
I like it. I think there's some faces I don't like. Sometimes Batman's ears, like I like them being tall, but sometimes they're so absurdly tall in this book. And this is very 90s. This happened in the 90s comics as well. This is not unique to this, but
I kind of they're at the point where how some movies they're so bad that they're fun.
Okay, sure.
The ears they're so long that I come back round on them. It's like just go all out on it.
That's fair. So it's a super 90s looking book, and the plot kind of feels like that as well, just to go along with it. He captures the Joker at the start, takes him to Arkham. There's some stuff with the Joker sort of teasing him in the Batmobile. Batmobile, of course, as well, is notable for being the animated series, right? So
yeah.
So, but he gets back to Arkham, and the person who's working there, one of the psychiatrists, gives him shit for like, you're just showing them that violence is the only way to solve your problems.
This is the bit of the book I really didn't
especially
like. This was just like 4 or 5 pages of exposition.
Because there's like five or six villains like break out, and he turns the lights out to fight them all. It's a fun enough fight sequence, and then she's like, you just beat them up. Like, what else was he supposed to do? It was 5 like super criminals who were going to like go and terrorize the city.
Yeah, I got about as far
6.
as him.
Bane, Ivy, Penguin, Two-Face, Freeze, and Killer Croc.
There you go.
Yeah, I got about as far as them getting to Arkham, and I just the story wasn't doing it for me, and it was tough for me to read and keep my attention. But then I thumbed through it, and I saw that bunch of exposition. I was like, okay, I made the right decision.
That's the one bit of the issue I really don't like. I do think it's clunky. That's supposed to be the core premise of the book, from what I remember, is Batman reevaluating whether or not what he does is the right methods. And I feel like he should be coming to that conclusion on his own, not just being shouted at by a psychiatrist.
Yeah, some random character who like I think's a new character. I don't recall her from anything.
Yeah.
And then of course they hear Scarecrow's escape, so Batman chases after him. Who's not been mentioned really up until this point, I don't think. I mean, maybe it may have been mentioned once, but there wasn't.
Yeah, maybe in passing, but he hasn't been a part of the book.
And Scarecrow, douses him with the gas, and that's kind of the end of the issue. Is the cliffhanger that he's doused with Scarecrow gas, which obviously makes sense. King of Fear. I'm sure we're going to get a lot of fear gas like hallucinations and whatnot, which is fun. Like as a thing where. I had enough fun with this book. I'd happily read more of this. Next week 4's really busy though, so if something has to get cut, this is kind of the thing that would be cut.
Yeah,
that's the starting point.
No, I agree, but it's a shame because I think the page that's the fight with the Joker with like the 25 panels on.
Yeah, that was cool.
I think that's a fantastic page.
Yeah, and I love
because it was just
the spread at the end with the giant Scarecrow like reveal, like
falling into the Scarecrow.
Yeah, I like that. Like I love the classic Scarecrow design. I think it's really cool. But and it does feel super 90s. So if you don't like 90s Batman, you don't get much out of this. There's a couple of pages where when Joker's tormenting him in the car, I thought Joker was a little bit too wordy at times, like for what I expect from Joker. Like he was using like bigger words than I expect to come out of the Joker's mouth. Like he almost felt like he was being analytical, like a scholar at points, and I'm like, yeah, Joker doesn't like. If I can't imagine Mark Hamill saying it, it's not perfect. You know.
Well, then even if you can't imagine Heath Ledger saying
him or Ledger.
those are my two Joker voices.
If I can't imagine either of them saying the dialogue, then there's something a little bit off about it.
I don't know. I could hear it all in Hamill's voice personally.
Well,
I say I could.
Subjectivity.
So like when I read Joker and he's doing really dark stuff, like in some of Snyder's run, like in Death of the Family, he in my brain sounded like Heath Ledger's version. But when he's a little bit more lighter, which is funnily enough in like Endgame, where he's doing darker stuff, but he's more maniacal about it, he sounds like Hamill. This one felt like neither.
I did appreciate the joke at the start where he's like threatened to kill the guards. Like, oh no, I won't, unless I won't kill him as long as you show up, unless I get bored. And then he shoots him anyway. I got bored. I do feel like there should be an extra panel of him waiting. Like I think one panel of like, nothing happening, and then
it happened too quick.
Yeah, and then the shot would have been funnier, but
And he goes, "Yeah, but I didn't touch his hair."
Yeah, I won't harm a hair in his head. Then he shoots him. He's like, "Yeah, but if you check his hair is immaculate."
Yeah, it's still in pristine condition.
So it was fun stuff. I mean, like I say, it's nothing stand out. Like I'm not reading this thinking, this is going to be like the next big Batman trade that everyone's going to go and rushing by because it's got a reputation. It feels like a probably fairly forgettable throwback to the 90s. But if you enjoy those 90s Batman stuff, it's
I think it's going to be fun enough.
Yeah. So for rating it, I don't know if Matt should rate it. He didn't finish it.
No, I didn't finish it, so I'm gonna refrain.
Yes, he's abstaining. Carl, what are you giving it?
I'm going to give it a 7 because knocking points away for the clunky exposition.
Yeah.
And just a little, but I do really love the art. I'm a big fan.
I would say I love the art. I think there's like other artists from the 90s that I like more, but I do have a nostalgia for it. Like I couldn't help but smile seeing like the classic Batsuit and whatnot. But it's not always necessarily the greatest art in terms of like the actual, quality of the artwork and what it's doing.
I don't know. I just feel stuff like that fight panel page is so well constructed, and that is all just technical artistry to tell that.
Was a low point. Some of Joker's dialogue was a little bit too much for me. So, but I did have fun. I'm gonna go more like a 6.5. I think like fun, but not like necessarily good.